Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today, I thought it'd be pretty cool to look at some Imperial uh, Knife Company Tang stamps. So I have some really old ones, some of the oldest ones that you can find. But there's a bunch of them I don't have, so we're just going to go through. We're not going to be talking about these knives. So the purpose of this is just to look at these Tang stamps and help you date your knives and understand the progression of these Tang stamps. So if you think that's interesting and it might help you out, go ahead and check out the video. This is Thanksgiving scrumptiousness. Ooh, look at all of that.
You taking a video?
God bless America.
Are you taking a video?
All right, welcome to the Fortified Castle, and hi to all my viewers. Imagine today you're feeling pretty lethargic. You're probably trying to wear off all that food you ate yesterday. Yeah, Thanksgiving is great. We live in a bountiful, blessed country. And I hope you all enjoyed your Thanksgiving day. And I hope you're going to enjoy the weekend. For a lot of Americans, it's a 4-day weekend. And so that's plenty of time to look at videos. So look at my playlist and look at some of those videos you never had time to look at. So let's talk about Tang stamps. So Imperial Knife Company was formed in 1917. Michael Felix Mirando, they were Italian immigrants, formed this company. They had came from a family of knife makers in Italy, and they came to America to try to make their mark. And boy, did they ever make their mark. They turned into the biggest knife company in America that dominated the knife industry in America for the next 100 years. And so we're going to be looking at the Tang stamps of those fantastic knives. The earliest ones we really don't know. And what I'm going to be looking at here is the Imperial Tang stamps. And I'll explain that in a little bit. But they had a lot of other Tang stamps. So we're just going to be looking at the Imperial Tang stamps with, maybe a side journey to some of the ones made out of the country. But mostly just the Imperial Tang stamps. Also a few Hammer brand Tang stamps. And the rest of them I'm not going to cover, and we'll talk about that as we go through the video. Probably towards the end we'll talk about all the other stamps, but let's get started. All right, so the first one, this covers a date range between 1917 and 1925. It is just an Imperial Knife Company straight Tang stamp, and I don't think there's any recording of that Tang stamp. The next one up is in the early 1920s, so you're talking 21, 22, 23, and it's Imperial Knife Company, but the Imperial is arched, so you can see that up in the picture there. I don't have that either. And next up, there's an Imperial Providence, Rhode Island, and it's kind of arched, but it's formed by the letters. And so I do have that, and we'll take a look at it. Zoom, zoom. And that's it right there. And so the bottom kind of forms an arch. You see the top is straight across. So that the arch is formed by the lengthening of the letters. And then you see the Providence, Rhode Island, which is Providence was the main location of Imperial. That's an early example of an Imperial. One of the earliest you'll ever going to see. Next up is the IKCO stamp. I'll show you here and then I'll show you a picture of it. That's it. It's just simple IKCO, block letters with USA underneath it. Sometimes there's no USA, and I'll show you the stamp right there in the picture. Do I have a stamp? I don't think I have a stamp on that. So there's no picture there. Never mind. But this is a pretty prolific stamp. I think they put it on their cheaper knives. I might be mistaken. Maybe one of you guys have that stamp on a really nice knife, but that's just my sense of it. Then there's some stamps I don't have. So this is an early 1920 stamp, Imperial Knife Company, block letters. It's a 2-line Tang stamp. I don't have that Tang stamp in my collection. And next up, this one right here is the mid-20s. So you're talking 24, 25, 26. And that's a 3-line Imperial Knife Company. Same basic name, but just 3 lines. Next is the just plain Imperial. This is the late 20s, so you're talking 1927 to 1930. This is also the something very similar to this simple Imperial Tang stamp the company went to after 1985. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And next is the Imperial Made in USA, 3-line. That's the first time you're seeing Made in USA on an Imperial Tang stamp. Okay, next is this stamp right here. We'll zoom in, zoom. And it's Imperial with a long Providence, Rhode Island. This is a late 1920s Tang stamp right here. So prior to the beginning of 1930, late 20s. Look at it. That is just a gorgeous looking knife. It's a pretty well made knife too. So well made, not necessarily finely made. So that is the Imperial Providence, long Providence. And then in 1930, you have this Tang stamp right here, which is Imperial Prov, Rhode Island. So the short Providence, just block letters. You can see this looks like this Imperial would be the same kind of font that the late 20s just single line Imperial was. This is a 2-line with Providence. And this is the end of their traditional knife making right here. So in 1936, they switched to the shell back. You can see a cheaper shield in this right here. It's just a stamped shield. So they're already moving to these more inexpensive knives in 1936. So that ran from 1930 to 1936. And then, let's see, in 1936 is where you get that short Imperial Providence. I think it's this one. No, it's not that one. I'm getting lost already. So there's a picture of it. I just showed it to you in this knife. It's a short Providence. That ran from 1930 to 1936. I'm sorry, 1936 to 1952 is when that ran. The long line, the one in here, ran from 1930 to 36, right there. Long Providence, Rhode Island, 1930 to 1936. Short Providence, Rhode Island, 1936 to 1952. All right, now we're going to move into some that y'all are probably more familiar with. This is the Imperial Crown Tang stamp. And so if you look at that, you can see Imperial, short Providence, Providence USA on there. That USA is horizontal and it has a crown. So these were the first Imperial Crown USA Tang stamps. They run from 1946 to 1956, I think. Yeah, 1946 to 56. So this is an older one in really good shape. This knife right here, pretty nice. Let me get down there so you can see it better. All right, now we're going to get into some Tang stamps you probably haven't seen as much. They're not listed in the catalogs. This is an Imperial Providence USA. So basically the same stamp without the crown that we had before, but it has stainless on it. And so this stamp probably ran to 1952, the same as the other one, and it just has stainless on it. Then you have this one, another one that you don't see a lot. And let me zoom in on that. So here, same thing, you have the Imperial Crown Stainless USA. So it's a little different. Doesn't have the Providence, it's USA. But the USA is horizontal. So I'm guessing that this is, I actually think this is later. I think this is a around 1956 that you'll see these. Notice the crown here. That's about what time when they went to that crown little shield that they put on these knives. This is a nice little knife. Look at that. And so it's not, let me see, is it? Yeah, it's not the shellback. So they didn't make these too often, though. For too long, rather. Okay, then in, did I just skip one? Yeah. So this is the one you probably see most of. That's the Imperial Crown. There's a little crown on there. And you see that crown right there. The USA, instead of being horizontal, it's all the way down. You have just Providence, Rhode Island there, a 2-line Tang stamp. This runs from 1956 all the way up till 1988. This thing is just in mint condition, except for a little ding. It has a little kind of ding there. See that? Otherwise, this thing's in mint condition, which is why I bought it. Just to have an example of one. You see them all beat up, and I just wanted one to see what it was like new. In 74, 75, the Frontier line comes out. And so that is your Frontier logo. And let's look at the Tang stamp. That's your Frontier Tang stamp. So this is a line within the Imperial knife lineup of knives. And so just a separate line of knives. These have dropped the shellback, and it was Imperial's attempt to start getting back to regular knife making and improve the quality of their knives. And they did. These are pretty good knives. So finally, in '88, they changed to Imperial Schrade, and that became the Tang stamp right there, Imperial with a crown. And that ran until their demise. And actually, this is a Smith & Wesson Imperial, so they're still using that Smith & Wesson Imperial. Now we're going to look at some hammer brands real quick and some different kind of stamps that are foreign. So up there in the picture, you see the first Hammer brand marking. This Hammer brand was a trademark of New York Knife Company. Imperial bought it when New York Knife Company went out of business, intending to make inexpensive knives under that brand. They ended up making all inexpensive knives, but they kept the Tang stamp. And so that is a Tang stamp, most like what New York Knife Company used. And if you'll notice on that, the arm is kind of straight on there. That's the earliest Tang stamp. It was only used 1 year. So if you have one of them, it's a rare knife. So they use that Tang stamp from 36 to 37, roughly. Next, they went to this Tang stamp right here, which, let's see, get this in. If you'll notice, it's not, the arm is not quite as horizontal. It has more of a natural angle to it, more like a V, like an arm is supposed to be. And then there's no USA on this, and you have a more defined hammer. And actually, the arm looks even better than the first one. So these were the second Tang stamp, and these things ran from 1938 to 1941. Pretty knife, isn't it? And in good shape too. So that's a 38 to 41 knife, almost pristine. What else we got? Then we got the final one. This they used from 40 all the way up to 1950. 58, was it 58 that they ran these up to? I think it's 55. I think 1955 they did away with the Hammer brand, but same arm, just a USA along the side. And so that's your Hammer brand Tang stamps. I just threw this in here because it's interesting. So if you look at this, it's obviously it's an Imperial knife. It has DE here. That's a trademark that Imperial got from Shipley Hardware when they went out of business. It is a shellback. You can clearly see it is a Imperial knife. And then when you look on here, it says Ulster USA. So what they've done here is they put an Ulster blade on the Imperial knife. Now this isn't a Frankenstein knife. It's not a repaired knife. It's just they did that, and that shows the close relationship they had, Ulster and Imperial. Could have been that Ulster was just trying to get rid of these blades from a previous run, and so they threw them on some Imperials to get rid of them. Or what frequently happened is that Imperial used Ulster to take up the slack, and so when they had too much to do, Ulster helped them out, made knives for them, made blades for them. And so that's more likely that they just needed the stock to finish the run of these knives. Right here, this is a Heko and Mexico. It's an Imperial Heko in Mexico. So this is an Imperial that was made in Mexico. You don't really see a lot of these knives. They're really cheap knives. They weren't marketed in the U.S., and they were meant for Mexican consumption. And so that's why you don't see a lot of these knives. Obviously, a lot of them didn't really survive. And then finally, you have this Tang stamp, which is an Imperial Ireland. See that? Pretty much the same thing as your Hammer brand knives. These look identical, the knives. made in Ireland. This one's in pretty good shape here. So that is the Tang stamps, and I just wanted to show you. You can see up there. That's a group of pictures of different lines of knives. So you know, like the Frontier brand, these were different lines of knives that they made. And then this picture right here is some of the other Tang stamps. They provided, there's over 75 Tang stamps listed, and there's probably more we don't even know about. But you can see, and here's another shot of more of them. These are all Tang stamps that they made probably for contract. A lot of them. Some of those are Imperial Tang stamps if you look at them. But most of these are just names that were brands from different stores and things like that. That they were making the knives on contract. And an incredible amount of Tang stamps. You know, these knives are so inexpensive. It'd just be fun to try to get all of those Tang stamps. You know, if you like Imperial, if you're a fan, you know, collecting, getting a hold of all of those Tang stamps would be really cool. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving in that year. Holidays are great. It's going to be a bad travel day on Sunday on the East Coast. So also up in the north. So y'all be careful. Take your time. Slow will get you there. If you're driving, just be patient. You'll get there. And I hope you all have a great weekend. We'll see you in the next video.